Hi there everybody, Ollie here, aka Secret Nimbus here, with another episode of Magic Duels. So for today's Friday Night Magic deck tech, I'll be playing with a Gruul ramp deck. Now, by popular opinion, this is probably the strongest deck in the meta at the moment. So I was like, well, why not run it myself? You know, I like ramp, you know, one of my favourite archetypes. So why not give Gruul ramp a try? I mean, I tried mono green, it was good, but it wasn't really consistent enough. It didn't really have enough removal. It was mostly just relying upon its big game threats to kind of finish out the game, whereas this has got a lot more sweep, a lot more removal, and it's just a lot better deck. So let's get started. So for our we don't have any 1-drops in this deck because, you know, we're a ramp deck, we don't care about 1-drops. So to start off with, we've got Gatecreeper Vine, a nice 2-mana creature which can mana fix for us. And then we've got Elvish Visionary, which can draw us some cards, either early game or late game. Ravaging Blaze is a nice utility card. It can deal with massive threats, it can deal with small threats, and it can also close out the game with its ability to push through damage thanks to its Spell Mastery ability. Then got Nissa. Why wouldn't we have her in a ramp deck? We can easily get up to 6-7 mana, flip her, and then get her loyalty abilities where we can start drawing cards, playing more mana, and potentially get up to the all the land elemental creatures. Then got Rexage to deal with all the enchantments running around in the meta at the moment, so dealing with all those retreats and Sphinx's tutelage and stuff like that. Then got Natural Connections, so this is one of the new ramp cards introduced in Battle for Zendikar. So whereas before we only really had Nissa's Pilgrimage and Monvuli Acid Moss to ramp, we've now got Natural Connection as well, which not only allows us to find a forest, it also allows us to find the mountains as well, which is pretty awesome. And it's an instant as well, which is pretty cool, so we can actually potentially play this on our opponent's off step, which is pretty cool. We've then got Radiant Flames, so just the 2 of these is the most we can have, although I wouldn't want more than 2 in this particular version of the deck anyway. Because of its convergibility, it deals X damage where X is the number of colours cost to cast it. So in this deck we're looking usually only at 2 colours. So what this card is really used for is dealing with aggro decks. So 3 mana to sweep out 2 toughness creatures is like that's a bargain in my opinion. This is a really good card for just dealing with aggro decks. Then got Nissa's Pilgrimage, so the other main 3-mana ramp card in this deck, which allows us to search for forests, 2 usually, 1 on the graveyard, 1 in hand, one on the battlefield, 1 in my hand, and then with the Spell Mastery potentially find 3 out of the deck, so it's good for thinning down the deck and for ramping up. Then got Curd Chieftain as a nice mid-range threat, so it's always going to come down as a 4/4 because we're always bound to have a forest in play. Then its ability to give a creature +2/+2 and trample is pretty fantastic as well. From Beyond is a double whammy, so not only does it ramp for us, so it puts these Eldrazi Sarn creature tokens which we can use to sacrifice them for mana, but we can also sacrifice it and search for potentially Ulamog or Desolation Twin, depending on which Eldrazi we want to find. So you can essentially view this as 2 more copies of Ulamog in the deck. We then got Monvuli Acid Moss, so the card everybody loves to hate, basically because it is completely evil, where the fact we can destroy lands and then ramp up ourselves, so we essentially like leapfrog our opponent by 2 turns worth of mana play. Chandra's Ignition is the main sweeper in this deck, so the fact that we can drop a big fat fatty down the battlefield, use its power to sweep away everything on the battlefield apart from that fatty, and then also doing damage to our opponent is devastating. This card is awesome. Akum Hellkite is a nice big red card, so it's a nice 4/4 dragon flyer with the landfall ability to start dishing out mana depending on whether or not it's a mountain, which deals out 2, or any other mana, which deals out 1 damage. Woodland Bellower, again a nice utility card, so not only is it a huge creature, but then we can also find one of our small drops, such as, so most people tend to consider this as a second version of Reclamation Sage in a deck like this, so you can play a big threat and then also potentially destroy an enchantment at the same time. I've also used it for mana fixing, so if I'm missing like a red or a green mana late game, I can play this and then find a what's it called? The little Gatecreeper Vine, that's what I'm looking for, so it's good for mana fixing. Oblivion Sower is the first of our Eldrazi in the deck, so it's a nice big threat as a 5/8, plus the ability to then exile the top 4 cards of my opponent's library, and we get to put any mana cards exiled that way on the battlefield under my control. I've also heard that if you've already managed to put mana cards into an opponent's into opponent's exile pile, it'll put any mana that's in there onto into play on my side of the field, which is kind of insane if you think about that. Then got the One Guy's Revenge. This is the traditional green fatty from Origins, and still kind of going strong in Origins as well, mostly because it can't be countered or be the target of non-green spells or abilities. We've got Omnath. Why wouldn't you include this in a red-green ramp deck? So its landfall ability to put 5/5 elemental creature tokens onto the battlefield and to dish out 3 damage whenever an elemental creature token dies is pretty fantastic. Breaker of Armies is a good way of clearing a board, so technically you can almost view this as another sweeper. You play this, you attack, everything that your opponent owns has to attack it, and with 10 attack it can deal a lot of damage. Ulamog, we've got the poster child for Battle for Zendikar, so this card is just bonkers. For 10 mana we get to exile 2 permanents, it's indestructible, and we get to mill 20 cards of our opponents every time it attacks, so this card is just insane. Finally, to round off the deck, we've got the 1 copy of Desolation Twin, so it's Final Eldrazi, which puts 20 damage into play in 1 turn, so that is just bonkers. You've got this and Breaker of Armies in play potentially. This will suck up all of the damage from your opponent's creatures, and then you get to push through 20 damage from the 2 Eldrazi generated by it. In terms of the mana base, we're looking at 6 mountains, 8 forests, 2 Cinderglades, 2 Rootbound Crags, Fertile Thicket, a couple of them just because it allows us to mana fix as well, so we can play it, look at the top 5 cards of our library and put a basic mana card on top of our library, so it's nice to ensure that we're mana fixing early in the game. A couple of Gruul Guild Gates, and finally a couple of Evolving Wilds to mana fix and thin down the deck as well. Before we start some games, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. So I'm trialling out a new thumbnail style. I want you guys to let me know what you think of it, so I'm moving away from just the kind of generic thumbnail with the numbers and moving towards an individualized thumbnail for each deck that I play. So you'll see what it means when you actually, well, you should have seen what it looks like already. I just want you all guys' opinions on what it looks like and whether or not you like it, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and just let me know. Okay, so with that, let's move on to playing some games. Okay guys, here we are for game number 1. So we're playing a rank 34, I'll double check the name in a second, but this is most certainly a keeper, this hand. 3 mana to start off with, 2 lots of ramp at turn 3, and then also a Monvuli Acid Moss, so, you know, why wouldn't we keep this hand? Yeah, we're playing Borish P84, rank 33, not rank 34. Currently sitting at rank 25. I'm really like languishing mid-20s at the moment. I'm hoping this deck is the one which kind of pushes me from, oh yes, hello Omnath, where have you been all my life? Yeah, so I've been languishing the mid-20s, and I'm hoping this is like the one deck for this particular expansion which kind of pushes me from the mid-20s and into the 30s, because I found once I left the mid-20s I didn't really go back. Like once you've reached the 30s you kind of get away from the people grinding for gold and stuff and move more towards the serious players which are playing the more interesting and more fun decks. Okay, so we've got a core Castigator to start off with. Can't be blocked by Eldrazi Scions, but you know, it's not too much of a problem. Play a mountain here, I think. So I probably want to play Kurd Chieftain on turn 4 at this rate. So I will sacrifice playing Monvuli Acid Moss to actually play out a potential creature here, I think. Or do I? I might be able to take... No, Core Castigator is, you know, that's going to deal a lot of damage very quickly, so it's going to take me down to 16 before I can even get a Kurd Chieftain out, so really I want to do that like ASAP. Okay, so we'll play out the forest here, and then I think we'll play out Nissa's Pilgrimage just so we can grab a load of mana. So 1, 2, like so. There we go. So what's my opponent doing? I'm guessing he's going to sacrifice Evolving Wilds. Yes, he is. So yeah, we've got white, red, green at the moment. Chandra's Ignition could put us like straight back in this. If we play out something like Kurd Chieftain or Omnath, I mean Omnath could be insane. You play out Omnath with like having played a few landfall triggers. You Chandra's Ignition this one with all the tokens that it's generated, and then you're dealing like damage left, right, and centre right across the board. So that could be bonkers. Okay, so my opponent is looking like he's playing an ally deck, I'd assume. So. Well, I don't know why he's got blue in here, unless it's like some kind of weird Converge ally deck. I don't know. So we're taking a lot of damage here, but I think we're okay for now. I think we'll play out the Fertile Thicket, however. Reason being is that we can actually then play out... Okay, nothing there, that's fine. We can play out the Chandra's Ignition next turn and potentially wipe our opponent's board with the Kurd Chieftain, so... We've got Breaker of Armies and stuff to come later on. We're ramping up quite nicely. So I'm not really too worried by that. See what my opponent does. Come on, mate. So I can block this one, can't really block that one, so we could potentially go down to 10 here, depending on what my opponent's got. I almost don't want to block, so he's only swinging with the 4-3. Okay, that's fine by me, I can accept that. I'll skip blocking. Reason being is that I'm hoping he plays out at least one more creature here so we can get some value out of the Chandler's Ignition. Come on, play a creature. No! Well, I was hoping. Play out the Cinderglade here. Now, do we Monvuli Acid Moss him, or I think I'm going to have to Chandler's Ignition here. Just because, you know, we kind of needed to. He had too much of a threat on the board, and, you know, I couldn't really deal with it well at that point. So I'd rather just, you know, wipe his board, take him down to 12. So we've almost caught up in terms of the damage here. We've got the better board state. We've got lots of threats to come in Omnath and Breaker of Armies. So yeah, because like he was obviously not wanting to play out Tajaru Stalwart and stuff there, but I mean we're fine now. I mean it's a 3-4. That's fine by me. So I mean we've got plenty of things to come now. So let's play out the Forest. I'm really tempted to Monvuli Acid Moss his Evolving Wilds, although he would just pop it before I could even do that. So I may as well... I could swing with the 4-4 here, actually. And then just play Omnath out. Would probably be a good idea. So he's going to let the 4 damage go through. And we can play out Omnath. Just because this card is fantastic. And we're going to be generating a lot of tokens from this over the next couple of turns. So... I'm quite happy with that play. I don't think he can do 10 damage, like burst damage right now anyway, so we should be alright, guys. Woodland Wanderer. So this is a Vigilance Trample with Converge. Yeah, this is some kind of like Converge kind of deck or something like that. It does have some allies, but not really that many. So he's not swinging for obvious reasons. Oh wow, we've got 2 natural connections, so let's generate ourselves an Omnath token. But also Monvuli Acid Moss, I don't know, that. Just so we can generate even more Omnath tokens. And then we'll probably pop a natural connection on his off step as well, and then just start swinging with these guys next turn. So yeah, we are in a really good situation right now. So he's going to pop Evolving Wilds, which, you know, expected him to at some point. So yeah, we're going to get another Omnath token, another elemental, 5/5 elemental on my end step as well. I like the way they look. I don't know why. They're kind of like mini versions of Omnath. He's like got 4 arms and these guys have only got 2. It's like, oh, the little baby Omnaths. We do have Breaker of Armies to come as well at some point as well, which could be kind of insane. So he's playing a Convert, playing the... so he's getting 4 core ally tokens. Not too bothered by that. Play Natural Connection as well. Get ourselves another Omnath token. Let's get a Mountain. So we get a 3rd one here. We're probably going to play Breaker of Armies on this turn, to be fair. So we're going to swing with all 3 of these, as we're going to be generating at least 2 more over the next few turns anyway. I mean, he can block 1, but I'm just going to kill it. So he's going to block all these. So I'm just going to wipe out most of his tokens here. So that's going to die. I could actually kill it by triggering my Kurd Chieftain here without actually having to sacrifice it right now, which could be interesting. I wonder if he realises that. I'm hoping he doesn't. So he's going to double block. Okay, that's fine. So how much damage is he doing? That's doing 9. So... let's do Woodland Wanderer first, then you. Then we're going to pause, trigger Kurd Chieftain's ability on you. We should push through 7 damage, which will kill that one, but we'll then kill this one. And I can also then kill the Taju Stalwart as well, because of the Omnath trigger. So that's pretty awesome. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful board state. Just had to take that early game damage. It's fine, guys. It's fine. We were well on top of it. I said this is why this deck is far more consistent than the mono green ramp. Just for the fact we've got things like Chandler's Ignition. Oops, daisy. I completely forgot to trigger Natural Connection there, but hey ho. Just swing with the tokens. Why the hell not? We're going to push through a reasonable amount of damage here anyway, so could have swung with, I don't know, Omnath as well, maybe. I don't know what he had in his hand, though. Didn't want to lose it. I think he's just conceded here. Yeah, that's just concede. Okay, let's move on to game number 2, guys. Okay, guys, here we are for game number 2. Sorry, I was completely blanked out for a second. I was looking at something else and then realised that the game has started. So, yeah, I think this is a keeper, this hand. So we're playing Ryudo for game number 1. So I think we'll start with the Gruul Guildgate here. We'll do the Gatecreeper Vine turn 2. We've got Omnath again, just because, I love the way I never got to play him when I was doing the Landfall deck, and I've already played him once for the Gruul ramp. So, hello, Omnath. It's nice to see you this time instead of the last deck that he was in. Okay, so we've got a Coom Hellkite as well, so we're looking good here, guys. We've got plenty of mana coming down, so we're up to 5 mana fixed already, so we just need to find either a couple more or ramp into some more. So let's find a red mana here. Maybe we should have gone for a forest. Doesn't really matter too much, I don't think. Okay, so it looks like we're playing Thopters, I think, maybe? Which would be good for that Coom Hellkite, as he's going to have a whale of a time picking up Thopters potentially late game, so... What have we found? Ooh, Rootbound Crag is useful, but I will however, play out the forest here. Sorry about somebody intruding in on me recording there. I always forget to turn it off because I've got so few friends on Steam, just that I just never bother to turn it off, and only very occasionally did somebody actually pop up while I'm playing, so I apologise for that. Okay, so we've got Thopter Engineer, which I'm tempted to kill straight away, which I can't with the Ravaging Blaze, unfortunately, but so we're just working our way up to a Coom Hellkite here at this point, and then hoping that we find some kind of, I don't know, sweeper. One of my sweepers would be great right about now. Ooh, very nice. We found Natural Connection. So let's play out the Cinderglade, and we'll play out the Natural Connection probably on my opponent's end step. So yeah, we can't actually use Ravaging Blaze to kill Thopter Engineer, unfortunately. So I was like, oh yeah, I could kill it, and I was like, oh no, because it's got 3 health. It's really difficult to deal with, unfortunately. Okay, so he's played out a Whirler Rogue. Now that is bad news bears for me. So I'm tempted to kill that. So he's got 3 Thopters on the board right now. I'm just going to play out Natural Connection at this point. Let's get us up to 5 mana. So let's grab a forest this time. I mean, we've got a Coom Hellkite to come down, so this is going to start picking off Thopters anyway. So he swung with 3 Thopters there, so we're going to go down to 16. Not the end of the world. So I could really do one of my sweepers. Radiant Flames would be good, really, I'll be honest. Okay, we've got a Cinderglade, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll play Rootbound Crag out this turn, I think, just because that counts as a mountain. So we'll potentially trigger a Coom Hellkite's 2 mana ability. So now we've got a flyer to actually block these guys, so that's good for me. This could, unless I find a sweeper, I might be in a whole world of pain here, but so I'm hoping for a Radiant Flames to come up at some point, maybe. Would be quite nice. So he's up to 5 mana, so he can basically play anything he wants from a Thopter deck right now. Oh, Chief of the Foundry is not good for me, although this does mean that unless he's got a what's the 1 mana removal spell? I can't remember what it's called now, that does 2 damage. I don't know. I'm assuming he's probably going to swing with like everything here, or just the Thopters. Yeah, he's going to swing with the Thopters. He's got to push through damage here. I mean, I've got to... I know he might have it, but I've got to risk it here. I've got to start dealing with these Thopters, basically. Twin Bolt. Oh, right, yeah, that's another one he could have had, because I've forgotten that he also had the Foundry of the Consoles open. Wow, that was really quite silly of me. So, yeah. Sweeper? Come on, Sweeper. Sweeper, Sweeper, Sweeper. Oh! The clutch Sweeper comes into play. Go to hell, Thopters. And then I think we're just going to deal with the... we'll do 2 damage to you as well, just because I don't want you around. So we do have Omnath to come down next turn, which is good for us, which is going to allow us to kind of come back into this. Yeah, that Radiant Flames was clutch there, in my opinion. Needed that. Needed that, needed that, needed that. I wouldn't mind the second one coming up as well. Would be nice. We don't always get what we wish for. I've got some extreme luck by kind of rubbing the deck, and then it always seems to come up. You just got to rub the deck. Whenever you want something, it's like, yep, mass removal, come on, yep, sweeper, yep, radiant flames. Boom. In your face. Yeah, I'm just a little bit happy about that. Okay, he's played Gear Repair Gearcrafter. Yeah, not the end of the world. We've got Omnath to come down, so this could be awesome for us. Oh, and another Chief of the Foundry. Because, you know, if my world wasn't already sad enough as it already is. So he's played out now, so if we were to get like another sweeper, we would be alright here, I think. So we're going to play Omnath here, and then a Cinderglade. We'll generate us 2 creatures, 2 5/5s. Which is nice. Yeah, maybe shouldn't have fallen into that Akum Hellkite trap. I knew it was coming and I still did it, and I probably shouldn't have done it knowing... Well, I didn't know I had the Radiant Flames coming up. If I hadn't have done that, I would have, like, waited, I think. Okay, so he's generated a second Thopter here. So I could really do with... what's my other sweeper? Chandra's Ignition would be fantastic right about now. That would literally win the game for me. We've got 2 chances to find it this turn coming. If not, we're basically dead, I feel. So, chance number 1, Chandra's Ignition. Nope, that is not Chandra's Ignition. Chance number 2. You know you want to, Elvish Visionary. So I don't know what his Alchemist Vialing here. Probably my Omnath. I don't think it really matters at this point, mate. You've basically won. Unless I get Chandra's Ignition, no, that's game over. That's unfortunate. So I think I will do a 3rd game, guys. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, guys, here we are for game number 3. Although I think this guy's just been replaced by the AI, so we'll play it out just because, you know, I need the practice with this deck. So I'm going to keep this hand. It may seem crazy, but we'll go for it anyway. So yeah, I don't know who that was, but it's just a rank 20 now opponent. So we'll just see what kind of deck he was playing. I'm assuming he probably just like lost connection or the game crashed, something like that. I'll take it as a win. I mean, I've still got to beat the AI, and it's going to have a better deck than the actual AI does at the moment. So, you know, not tons and tons of Royal Spouts and stuff like that. So we're going to get the 4th mana here pretty quickly. So use our Gate Grouper Vine, find us a mountain, I think. Got the Akum Hellkite again. You know, this guy likes to make an appearance. Haven't seen Ulamog come up yet, but we've got 2 more videos to come for him to hopefully show himself. So let's see how it goes. So we're looking at red-white here, so probably like aggressive auras or something like that, maybe. Just play out Nissa's Pilgrimage. Yeah, this is a sorcery, whereas the other new ramp card, the whatever it's called, is an instant. So you can play it on my opponent's off-step, which is also quite nice. Just something different. So they both have their benefits. This is sorcery speed, but you get to find more land. The other one's instant speed, but you can search up for a red mana. So, you know, swings and roundabouts, really. Let's drop the Rootbound Crag and then just move on. So we've got Akum Hellkite to come down next turn, which is quite nice. And then we'll be saving the mountain to play with it. It's whatever he decides to play. Okay, so he's played a Aurosis Champion, which I think we're probably just going to remove straight away. Just because I don't want it getting any kind of auras on it or anything like that. We're just going to get rid of it. Get rid of it, get rid of it. Okay, so we'll play out the forest here, which means we can then play out Akum Hellkite. Fantastic. Then we just wait to see what my opponent does. I mean, any kind of creature he plays, we can kill it with the Akum Hellkite or the Ravaging Blaze, which is quite nice. Okay, Suppression Bonds is not particularly good for us, which basically means that this card is now useless. Not the end of the world. So we'll probably play Oblivion Sower instead. Okay, so apparently Akum Hellkite's unactivated abilities still work. That's cool. So what does Suppression Bonds actually do then? So enchanted permanent can't attack or block, and its activated ability. Oh, because it's like a passive ability, I can still trigger it. Right, that makes me quite happy. It means it's not actually completely useless. It's basically a standing card which can deal damage to my opponent's face. So we are dealing some nice damage to it as well. So just Akum Hellkite is doing the business here. So I like the fact that because it's not an activated ability, he can just merely sit there and dish out damage willy-nilly with his passive ability, which is pretty cool. So I'm quite happy with that. Got a Consul's Lieutenant come down, so that's a 2-1. Won't be too bothered by that. Let it exist for now. So we'll kill you. Look at that, it's still doing the business there. It's been suppression bonded, but it's still useful. I like that. So he's going to deal 5 more damage to my opponent, take him down to 10. We'll also play out the Kurd Chieftain. We'll save you in case we need to remove anything. We've got a sweeper in case he plays lots and lots of little creatures. So yeah, we're in a good place right now, guys. I don't know what this guy could have done differently to have actually won this match, but probably not a lot. It's just a very aggressive Boros Auras. I'll get there eventually, guys. We'll deal 3 damage to his face, like so. Well, 3 damage to him and 3 damage to his face. So Fiery Impulse is going to what? Oh, I see. So that doesn't actually trigger. That's nice for him. So he gets to blow up my Gate Creeper Vine. Okay. So I like the way the AI actually blew up his own creature to prevent my Ravaging Blaze going through and providing me lethal damage this turn, although he's about to die anyway because I've got a Gate Creeper Vine, which will put a mana in play, trigger a Akum Hellkite, and we win the match. So pretty nice. So it doesn't really matter which one I play here. Play anything. Exactly lethal. Boom. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Another 20 gold in our pocket. Up to 1,200 now. I'm saving up about 20,000 gold for April because Oath of the Gatewatch and Shadows of Innistrad is releasing at the same time, and apparently Oath of the Gatewatch is actually going to be a small expansion, so it's only going to be about 60 packs, I think I've heard them saying. So instead of needing 12,000 gold to unlock the entire pack, we're probably only going to need about 8 to 10,000, something like that. So yeah, we don't need 24,000 by April. I only need about 20,000 by April. So I think that's doable in my opinion. But yeah, that's the end of the episode for now. As always, guys, don't forget to comment and like if you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.